The Los Angeles Rams obviously didn't have their best season last year due to injuries, mostly from my perspective, but some people might have said that our players didn't really play up to snuff, and we did lose a lot of people in free agency. With that being said, we're going to need a lot of the younger players to start stepping up, and these are the top 6 players to watch in the 2023 NFL season. And this video was inspired by the Rams Wire. This is a very good article that they just put out on these 6 players who could break out in training camp. And these 6 players could definitely all contribute at one point or another. So we're going to go through one by one and talk about each of them. And the first player that we're going to be talking about is going to be none other than Kobe Durant. Now, I think a lot of the Rams' success this season is going to be dependent on Kobe Durant because he's going to be our number one cornerback, considering Jalen Ramsey did leave to the Dolphins. Now, most of the Rams fans know Durant's name because he did play a good amount, but he might become known more nationally this season. As I said, the Rams have projected him as the top cornerback, and he is going to garner a lot of attention. However, he did play very well last season, so we can expect Durant to be making plays and establish himself as a new cornerback one. Let's hope he does well, and we'll watch him as the offseason goes on. And the second player to watch is going to be Michael Hoyt. Now, Hoyt is expected to step in as the Rams' primary edge rusher after Leonard Floyd was cut in the offseason. Now, whether you agree with this cut of Leonard Floyd or not, I do really like Michael Hoyt. As they say here, he did have 4.5 sacks in his last 6 games, and he was playing extremely well. So even though we did have to cut Leonard Floyd to save a bit of money, I really do believe that Michael Hoyt is a suitable backup, and with a full season, you can actually see him break out a bit and be one of those players like Greg Gaines that just gets a chance and then is able to really shine. The third player we're going to be going over is going to be Quintin Johnson. Now, Quintin was a undrafted rookie, but he was given a 5th round grade by NFL.com, so he could have been drafted on day 3. Me personally, I don't see the allure too much of Quintin. However, our secondary is kind of in shambles at the moment, so our whole secondary could be up for grabs. Whoever performs well in the offseason will be getting that shot. So yes, he did pick off 10 passes in college, and he had a total of 24 breakups in 4 years. So not only was he picking off the ball, but he was also breaking up a lot of passes. He is very versatile. He could play deep safety in the box and covering the slot. Very fast, and the Rams need help at all these positions, so you could definitely see him get a lot of play, and if he impresses in the preseason and the offseason, we can see him make the 53-man roster, and if we have a few injuries, we could see him playing as well. So just keep an eye on this name. However, I'm not as excited as the other 2 that we already talked about thus far. And the fourth player that we're going to be going over in this video is going to be Puka Ngata. Now, this is a player that I have actually already made a video on. If you want to see a longer video on it, well, it's actually only 2.5 minutes, but I think it's a pretty good video. You can go watch my video. The Rams just found Cooper Kupp's replacement right here. I talk all about Puka Ngata and how he could be extremely good for the Rams going forward. He played extremely well in college, and he's been impressing in offseason. Now, obviously, like I just said, he already began to break out this spring when he caught attention of his teammates and coaches with Cooper Kupp and Sean McVay. That wide receiver 3 spot is wide open, and Ngata could overtake Ben Skoranek and Tutu Atwell for that spot. Now, I wouldn't make a play for him in fantasy or anything. However, they do have similarities to when Cooper Kupp did this same thing as a rookie in 2017 when he started next to Sammy Watkins and Robert Woods. I wouldn't expect Puka Ngata to have the same type of output as Cooper Kupp did that season. However, if he does continue to impress, he is a very, very good player. And he has a lot of similarities to Robert Woods as well as Cooper Kupp. Almost the same stature as Cooper Kupp and very similar combine records to Robert Woods. But yeah, more than likely Ngata will get some playing time this season. It's just a matter of when that happens in week 1 or week 8. We'll see what happens in preseason, and then we'll go from there. The fifth player that we're going to be talking about in this video is going to be Russ Yeast. Now, Russ Yeast is going to be an interesting name to be on the lookout for because someone's going to need to step up at safety next to Jordan Fuller. Yeast is one of the Rams' top options. options along with Quintin Lake and Jason Taylor II, and possibly Johnson as well, like we said before. But yeah, Yeast plays with fire at the safety position, filling gaps and with physical play as a downhill defender. Now this can get risky at times, kind of similar to Taylor Rapp when I'm thinking about a similar player. But his opportunities were limited last season. But mcvay mentioned Yeast as a defensive back who's been impressing thus far, so maybe he's been making the correct improvements to be able to start and get a lot of playing time with the Rams. But with the safety group being so unsettled, yes, Russ Yeast could emerge as an impact starter. So we'll just have to see what happens with Russ. But yeah, keep him on your radar. And the sixth and final player is going to be Tremaine Ingram. Now, this is a player that I actually do like a lot. However, I don't like him being on this list, just considering where the Rams offensive line is at this point. Because like they're going to go into this, we have Logan Bruss and Steve Avila. So yes, the Rams really liked Ingram last year. They gave him a chance to start in week 2, but he actually got hurt on the first play and missed the rest of the season. But he's ready to compete for another starting job this year. I was extremely excited to see him, and when they announced that he was going to be the starter in week 2, I was actually super excited. However, I really like both Steve Avila and Logan Bruss. Because they're two of our top picks over the past 2 years, and Logan Bruss was very hyped up, and Steve Avila is even more hyped up than Logan. So these two players are definitely going to be impact starters, and I would much rather see them start over Tremaine Ingram. However, this is really good for us considering we now have depth, and if he really is that good and should be starting, then may the best man win. However, I really like where our offensive line is at, and this is something that I think is going to be an X factor for the Rams, the fact that they have such a good offensive line. But yes, if there are injuries or if he just really impresses in the offseason, we could see him starting at some point this season, so let's keep an eye on him. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys are liking the videos, then go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. I also want to mention, guys, I do have channel memberships now, so if you guys want to be shouted out at the end of all these videos, go ahead and join that channel membership. It just helps support me making these videos and keeping them daily. If you like the content, then it really just helps out a bit. But I really appreciate you guys. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.